Okay, I'm back for the second part of today. We here for it. It's happening. We doing what we need to do to get it done. So since earlier, I have gone to PT. Then we got some groceries. We put groceries up. We got some stuff out for dinner. And then I went and picked up the girls. Aubrey from aftercare and Janaya from basketball practice. Of course, I spent about an hour in a truck waiting. We ain't gonna talk about that. Here's Josiah. Say hi. Say hi. Say hello. Hey, this is my Tookie. This is my Tookie. Yes. So we here for it. What are you looking for? Josiah looking for another snack. He made a snack up while he waiting on dinner. So, we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. So, first question on the book. A lot of people inquire, how did I get to this place of faith? I always get that question for some reason. Everybody want to know where did my faith begin? Well, I have a very, very radical story, but I thank God for the people that I used to work with and the family that God allowed me to come encounter with that really, truly blessed my life and blessed my soul. So, talking about this, it's amazing because the family, they was just at a desperate point in their life, and they was willing to try whatever, but little did they know, just being willing to put yourself out there. Basically, them living in their own truth, sharing their story, really blessed my life and really put me in a place, a position to intercede. That was my first time being an intercessor. My first encounter with Faith Forward, and two, my first time just being able to, as I look at it, is bless someone else. It was a blessing more so for me, but it truly blessed me to extreme measures, to a point where I was just really trying something and really not knowing what I was trying. But in our reality, I was really God really put me in a place where he was able to increase my faith. So the story is, I used to work at Denny's. Started as a server and a host. Then I climbed a ladder. I started at Denny's like 2009. Climbed the ladder as a trainer, and then went from a trainer to being a diamond shift coordinator, which is basically a supervisor. My time at Denny's was about a little over 9 years. Almost 10. But when I was serving, one evening, I say, around supper time. When I say supper time, I mean about 7ish, 8 o'clock. For those that eat supper, my family, we try to eat dinner at 5, but most nights we having supper because it's just be late. Our days be long. But I was serving, and it was just a few people in the restaurant at the time, and this family came in. I want to say it was about 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 or 7 of them. I can't remember exactly because it's been a while, but I never forget the story, the highlights that truly blessed my life. So everybody was like, well, they was leaving this, and the third. So I was like, well, that's cool. You know me, I don't pass them no money. One thing about it, my serving was my hustle. And when you're a server and you're a good server, you make your profit. And trust me, when you in there to work, you don't turn down no money. We don't turn down no table because every table is money making business, and that's how I look at it. So, um, anywho, serving the table, everybody was happy. They was talking this and the third, woo woo woo. So by the end of their meal, I was cleaning off the tables and getting ready to leave. So I seen everybody gone from the table, and I was like, they gone already. But then I looked again, the dad was over there, but he had his head down, head down in his hands. And I said, well, maybe they went to the restroom. And I was like, well, let me go out here and finish cleaning my tables, and I'll check on them, give them some time. So in the midst of me cleaning another table next to their table, I see that the dad was actually sitting at the table, and he was crying. He had his head down in his lap, and I was like, oh Lord, I was like, I wonder what's going on. I said, what happened? So, I'm still looking around, and the rest of the family was in the restaurant. So, I need you to focus. Sorry about that, but my children know I do not play. When it's homework time, I mean business, and I do mean business. That part. So, in the midst of me cleaning the table, I'm like, oh Lord, I'm like, should I say something? Should I not say something? I'm like, okay, Lord. I was like, at this time, let me tell you now, I wasn't knee deep in my faith, but at the same time, I know the Lord, and I was raised in the church, and I know enough to say that I was willing enough to give words of encouragement, but also willing enough to, pray for him, if there was anything that I could do. So, I went to the table. I said, excuse me, sir, may I ask why you crying? I was like, I don't mean to intrude. I said, but is there anything I can do for you? And he just shook his head like, no. He was like, I'm sorry. He said, but I don't get these moments to break down. And I was like, break down? I said, what you mean? He said, because my daughter, we've been traveling all over the world, across the world, to find a cure for my daughter, and every doctor has turned us down because there is no cure and they don't know what's going on. So I was like, I said, interesting, because we see people, we see things, and we are curious as to what's going on. And this young girl, her name was Katie. I never forget it. I remember it just like it was yesterday. She came in, and she was in a mobile chair, and kid you not, she was curled up, and she basically, if you was to see her, you will say that she was in a crippled state. And the reason why I say that, because anytime you can move, or you're in a position where you don't have the ability and being of your own limbs, body, this and the third, that's what I mean about that. So that's what she was in, and she didn't have no she couldn't talk that I knew of. Her eyes, it was like she could barely control her eyes, and like she was just stuck. So I thought about her, seeing her, then to hear him say this, and I'm like, wow. He was like, yeah, he was like, so that's why we're here. We're actually passing through because we're headed to another doctor across the states. Now, this was Jackson, Tennessee, so just think about it. Across the states, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, he was like, yeah, he was like, because at this point, we're desperate. We're desperate for any answers, because every doctor we literally been to have given us the same thing. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to cure it. They don't know how to treat it. This, and the third. And it's interesting because, everybody expects for the doctors to have all the answers, and expect for a doctor to suggest, do this and do that. So I was like, I said, well, I said, sir, I get where you're coming from. And he just explained to me, he said, I hate seeing my daughter in this situation because she's in so much pain. If I could just take her pain away, he was like, then I will be okay. So I was like, I said, Lord, have mercy. He was like, at this point, what do you do when your child is in a situation? And then she wake up in pain every day, all day, not able to function normally, this, and the third. They trying to get her to feed. They trying to get her to eat. And, it was just a whole circumstance. So I was like, I said, well, sir, I said, if you don't mind, I said, I'm going to take it upon myself to pray for her. I said, I'm going to pray for Katie. And I said, I'm going to be praying for your family. I said, but when I say that, I said, I truly don't say it in a light sense. And I told him, I said, I even went on a stretch, not knowing at this point in time I'm being who God had called me to be, but I just simply said, for what I felt. It was in me. I felt it with my soul that I was going to pray for her until she was delivered. And I meant that. And I told him, I said, I'm going to pray every day. I said, I'm not just going to tell you that. I said, I'm telling you this because I'm going to pray for your daughter. And I'm going to wait to hear how God deliver her. Kid you not. Kid you not even knowing what I was speaking into existence, not even knowing the position I was putting myself in, not even knowing the capacity of God at that point in time, because I was young. I had just graduated from high school the year before, so yeah, I was young, and like it was just amazing to just be in such a place. So I told him, I said, and I don't want you to worry yourself. I said, because you're doing the best that you can. I said, and I said, I can't even imagine being in your position. I said, but I'm going to pray for your family too. I said, because I can imagine taking care of one child, but taking care of several children, then you got a big responsibility for another child. And just imagine traveling all over the country trying to find a cure for your child, and then you got other kids. They constantly moving, constantly going this, and the third. And I can imagine how they feel about their sister, this, and another. So, like I told him, I said, you have my word. So, me saying that and me giving him words of encouragement, God will provide. God will make a way. I believe that God can do this for your family. And I said, I'm trusting and believing in that. I said, and if we stand in agreement, I said, I believe something's finna change. Something's going to happen in Katie's life. So, kid you not, the weekend came, went to church, spoke about it at church, and just asked my church family to join in me with praying with this family. And that we believe God to be who he said he is. He is a healer. He is a deliverer. He is God that can do anything. Nothing is impossible for him. So, years went by. I want to say, probably 3, maybe 4 years went by. Not sure the timeline, but yeah, I think I'm close. So, I'm still out here serving this, and the third. At that point in time, I was already supervising. So when this was happening, or maybe I was a trainer, I'm not sure, but somewhere in a higher position. I know that because I wasn't serving that day. So when I walked in, I was like, I know ain't nobody waiting on my table. They was looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, you can't wait on no table anyway. I was like, nah, I know ain't nobody waiting on my table. This, and the third. I said, the family's here. So, kid you not, I looked out at the table. I seen everybody except for Katie. So at that point in time, I done grasped my chest. I'm like, oh Lord, oh Lord. I said, oh Lord. I said, God, I wasn't prepared for this today. I was like, why Katie not at the table? I said, Lord, I can't take it. I said, if she done passed away, I said, what I'm going to tell these people? I said, what I'm going to say to these people? I said, Lord, I can't even go out here to this table. By that time, they had already seen me. So me being in the back, and I'm just like, okay, Jesus. I'm like, whew. I'm like, just, be with me. Give me the words, this, and the third. Woo, woo, woo. So, kid you not, I pray every day for Katie. When I say every day, I mean every day. I call her name. I put it out in the atmosphere, and I just intercede on her behalf. Not knowing what I was doing at the time, because I didn't know nothing about intercession. And I learned that later on down the road. But I did. I prayed. I prayed earnestly. I prayed. I did. I prayed for that girl because I felt for her. I felt for her family. And I just, felt for the situation. So I finally got the nerve to go to the table. Oh, Jesus. Lord help me. I said, oh, God, please help me. I said, because I'm just telling the Lord because I need the strength. I'm like, because at this point in time, I don't know what to think. I see everybody, the family didn't look sad. Nobody looked unhappy. So I really know what to expect. But at the same time, I mean, it's been a long time. It's been quite a bit of time that had passed. So I didn't really know what to expect. So I went to the table. I said, hey, I was like, in my happy-go-lucky phase. Because everybody say, when I used to work at the Indies, all you do is smile. They were like, do you ever not have a good day? And I was like, I know that I'm here to serve. So this is who I am. This is who I want to be. And plus, too, I want to rub off on somebody else. So I was like, how's everything going? This, and the third. I said, it's so good to see y'all. Say y'all look great because they did. They look great compared to what I seen the last time. This day, they look great. So I'm hoping for good news. But at the same time, I still have to be prepared for I don't know what's going on because I know that she's not at this table. So they telling me all good things, everything is well. They just had to come through because they was passing through and they was hoping that they see me. And I was like, I said, yeah. I said, well, I said, I've been wondering how y'all been doing. I said, but I gotta ask. I was like, how's Kate? I said, how's my girl? I said, is everything okay? She's not here today. The mom looked at me and she said, I'm gonna let her tell you. At that point in time, I'm puzzled. I'm like, okay, last time she was in here, she couldn't talk. She couldn't. There was no functioning, nothing. She was just basically existing, and the amount of pain that her daddy described just really just blew me out the water. So at this point in time, I'm like, okay, Lord. I'm like, what you mean? Let her tell me. I said, where is she? And she was like, she coming in now. So by this point in time, I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, okay, it's not bad news. So it got to be pretty good news. Kids, y'all not. When I say there is a God, there is a God. Katie walked into Denny's on her two hind legs. And when I say she was smiling, when I say she looked completely normal, the dad was just welling with tears, and I'm just like, whoa. I said, wait a minute. I said, what happened? He said, you happened. He said, we know you was praying. He said, because they didn't find a cure. But our daughter began to get better, a little bit at a time. And I said, what? I said, what you mean? They said, we know it was you praying for our daughter. And I said, huh. Katie came in and she just smiled. She said, I don't remember you. And I told her, I said, well, I don't expect you to. But she said, my family told me what you did for me. And the brothers, they just smiling, they bigger and this, and the third. And I was just so amazed. I was really speechless. But then I was like, so how's it going? I said, how was life treating you? And she told me, she said, life is great. And I said, yeah. She said, yeah. She said, my mama always read to me because that's something that I like. I like to read. She said, I've been reading. She said, but not only have I been reading, I wrote my own book. I said, wait a minute. She said, and life is good. She said, I'm a clothing designer. And she said, I make clothes for people. And I said, wow. I said, if I hadn't seen it, I surely wouldn't believe it. I said, but it wasn't me. I had to tell the family that it was their faith to believe, even if it was just a mustard seed. It was enough for God to say, I am here. I am God. This is my child. Regardless of how she came in this world, regardless of how long she suffered, regardless of how long she was in the situation, could nobody do what it was that she needed but God. So y'all know me, right? Well, if you don't, let me go on to tell you. Kids, you not. As soon as I said that, I told the family, I said, y'all gotta excuse me for a second. And to see my managers and my coworkers standing back there, they smiling, this, and the third, they already knew. And I went in the back of Dennis, I never forget, I went in the kitchen. Went to the little small break room, ain't even big enough to pinch somebody. And y'all know I shouted, right? I did. My manager said, give her a moment. Give her a moment. I did. And I just began to thank God. And I began to bless the Lord, because who am I for him to put me in a situation? Who am I for him to call me to this circumstance? Who am I for him to put me in place in order to bless somebody else through prayer, through intercession? And even if they believed or they didn't believe, it was enough in me for them to say, we appreciate that. We received that. And they stood on it. And I just thank the Lord, because he opened my eyes to a point where nothing, no thing, no place, no person can persuade me any different than what I stand on today, what I stood on that day, or what my God can do. God knew that was an instant situation. That I didn't care what came my way. I ain't had no choice but to believe. If he could do it for Katie, he surely can do it for Shonay. And if he can do it for Katie, every person that I came in contact with, I said, well, Lord, is this my gift? Hey, let it be so. I stood flat-footed, grounded in every word that I spoke in prayer, intercession for anybody, that it settled it. It was done in Jesus' name. It was so in Jesus' name. And I thank the Lord, because I'm just a nobody. Trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. And I thank the Lord that he used me in a sense to a point where that was always going to be part of my story.